All right, welcome to the Work Sucks, but I Like It podcast. Today we have Brandon LaNette. I was actually on Brandon's podcast about a month ago in May of 2026, and one of her podcasts was Listen Bitch Presents Tell Me Why You're Special. And I really loved that podcast title. We had such a great conversation. And so I said, Brandon, you got to come on the show and talk about your work. And one thing that I love that you say in your intro is that, a lot of people are functioning today, but there's something that's not right or something's off. So I want to potentially explore that on the Work Sucks, but I Like It podcast. So, Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. My palms are actually sweaty right now. It's hilarious because I'm used to being the host now.
Yeah.
I've had my show for 3 months and I'm doing like 20 interviews every week. So I feel a little exposed all of a sudden. I'm like, man, I hope I pull this off today. So that's
No,
hilarious.
I love that. I
That's
love that
hilarious.
transparency, though, right? That's what this
Yeah.
podcast is about. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like being honest, and these are the parts that suck. And, that's awesome. I love that, Brandon. So,
Yeah.
Brandon, define work for us today.
Work. I mean, it's funny because if I think about work, like you have a job you go to, you clock in, you do your thing. I'm a stay-at-home mom. That is my work. It is wild. I think it is a full-time job to just be the parent. And so instead of that being enough for me, I have a very neurospicy brain. And so I like to just have an idea that I could do everything all at once. And so I do. I have 3 podcast shows, still run the house. My husband's schedule, he does work. However, his schedule is crazy, so I'm pretty much a single parent for 5 days of the week on top of everything I do, homeschooling, all of the things. And so yeah, work is my life on some level.
I love that, though. I had a guest on the show, Brandon. His name was Joe LaRussa, and he talked about how, oftentimes we forget about the work at home. And I think that's such a beautiful perspective you're going to bring to the show today because, yeah, yes, we punch into a job potentially where we run our own business or whatever, and then we punch out and we're done. But let's face it, the work, quote unquote, doesn't stop when you get home. In fact, it's another job. So, Brandon, walk us through kind of how the family looks. How many kids, dogs, cats, goldfish? I don't know.
This is
What are you
great, and I'm
managing?
glad you said it's okay if we go a little over the time because this might take a while, y'all, because it's a busy house. Listen
I
to
love
me.
it.
Okay, so I have 6 kids. My 2 oldest have graduated college. They just moved out. It's been about a year since they've moved out. So I have 4 still at home. One who was heading off to the Marines in September, and then I have a 16-year-old son, and then an 11-year-old girl and a 7-year-old girl. So those are the 2 I'm actively homeschooling. My son actually he's in public school, so he'll be a junior this year. We have 2 dogs, massive guard dogs. It's great because my husband's gone at night, so it keeps him happy. But we have a Rottweiler and a Shepsky, and they're just they're incredible, but probably the highlight of my life, I have 2 Sphinx cats,
Mm.
the naked raw chickens, I call them, and then we have a big, furry, fat fur ball, and we've got 2 bunnies and 2 fish. So when I
Holy
tell you
smokes.
guys, like, we have a zoo and I have a lot of kids.
That is
So
a
it's
full-time job. So walk us through then the work during the day. Like, how do you start your day?
yeah.
What does that
So
look like?
yeah, this is the key because everyone is always like, "How do you do everything you do?" And I have a really good foundation now. It hasn't always been like this. It took me a long time to get here, but literally I have a set routine where I come downstairs. Some days I read the Bible first, but some days I just put my shoes on and I get my workout in. So if I don't want to do the workout, if I'm like, ugh, I don't want to lift weights, I don't want to get on the treadmill, I do that very first
Mm.
because I'm like, I have to get it over with and then go to the Bible. If I'm like excited and I want to work out, I like to open the Bible first because I'm on the treadmill with my phone and I like to, read scripture before I actually present the whole day. But like that's my biggest core routine. There is that. And then I spend time, you know, cuddling my cat. That's my recovery time. One of the kittens I have, she is like my soul pet. So when I tell you guys, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, if it's just some weird me thing, but like she is by my side 24/7 constant,
Mm.
whenever she can be with me. And that's kind of like my fill my cup up and then I'm ready to take on the day. So then, it's getting my husband ready for work, packing his lunch, printing out worksheets for the girls. We just do it daily. And then really I have interviews, when I'm in and out. I try to keep this interview scheduled for 30 minutes and I try to give myself a 30-minute window to pop out and check on them. It's really great because most of the time they're kind of self-guided
Mm.
with school, but then, I'll pop out for 30 minutes and help them with their worksheet. So pop back in here, do that. As soon as I'm done with interviews, it's all about, my shows and it's a crazy routine. I do like today, this is my 6th show of the day,
Wow.
and I just am like, "Okay, y'all, my ass hurts from sitting in the chair," right? But, it's wild because I have such incredible conversations with people that although it is draining, I mean and it is, I mean, there's something about, dealing with everyone's energy and everyone's story and holding space for people, and in my show, I really like to package up the essence and really talk about what makes people special. And so I'm very you get the full version of me. You get all of my energy and the same thing I have to leave everything in the office and go check on the girls. So it takes its toll. Like when I'm done today, I'm going to be done. Don't call me, don't text me. Like I don't want to talk to another human for the rest of the night. Like I am done. But it's fun cuz I give my all in that moment.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be on this interview today. I guess I
Heck yeah.
love how you first off devote the time in the morning to physical exercise, spiritual
Yeah.
practice. Walk us through, I love the journey throughout the day. How do
Yeah.
you wind down then?
Right now, I am going to first of all, I haven't gotten to eat a really good meal today, just no fault of anybody else's. My schedule was a little behind. I've had a protein coffee, y'all. And so, first thing I'm gonna do is get my ground beef and rice that I've been eating for 6 months now, okay? I've had to go make a bowl of that, and we're gonna watch a stupid game show on TV. I forgot we were watching The Floor. I don't know if you've heard of that, but, I'm gonna eat my stuff, and we're gonna watch a game show, and then I'm gonna transition into, "All right, now it's time to make dinner for the kids, it's time to do the household chores," and I'll do that for a while, and then I get to come back in the office and actually post all the interviews, and then
Mm.
I do still have 2 shows of my own to record tonight, so it's
Wow.
that. That's what it looks
So,
like.
kind of give us a picture here of what time you're waking up to do all this, and then what time are you going to bed to manage all
Okay.
these things?
So to be fair, you guys, this is not a sustainable schedule right now, and I just wanna be very, very honest about this right now because my girls did softball this year,
Mm.
both of them, and that was all-consuming, and with my son in track, it was just a lot, and if you remember, I just said I'm kind of a single parent, not to step on the toes of someone who really is. We have a financial provider, but he's physically not here for 5 to 6 days of the week, and so with that schedule, I got really, really far behind with just, everything, and so my nights are looking like I'm up till midnight, 1 AM. Hope I I don't wanna jinx myself because I feel like if I say next week is gonna calm down, that's when, the next shitstorm
The shit show,
comes,
right,
and
right,
s
really
yes,
comes,
so
right?
I'm like, "Do I wanna say this out loud?" I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna say right now, the truth is I'm fucking drowning.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely drowning. I'm, 4 days behind in my regular shows. My sleep schedule has been awful. I got a great score last night. I'm excited. I think I was asleep by 1 AM, and then I was
Shit.
up at 8 AM this morning, and so that feels behind for me. My sweet spot is waking up between 6 and 7. That's my sweet spot, but I can't do that if I'm up until 1. So, it's very much not sustainable, but, I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and that's where I find the drive to keep doing it. Because I mean, what's
Mhm.
the truth, Tony? You could quit your podcast and no one's gonna give a shit. I
Yeah.
could quit any of
Yeah.
this at any given time.
Yep.
Nobody calls me and they're like, "Hey, where's my show today?"
Yep.
It just doesn't happen.
Yep.
So I think there's something incredibly rare about podcasters. You have to have a different I don't is it mindset or are we just batshit crazy? There's just
Probably
something
both.
about us. Yeah.
Probably both. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of work that goes into podcasting, right? As being a podcast host yourself, for every half hour, I like to tell people it can average anywhere from 1 to 2 hours of back
Yes.
end work very easily. Like if I fucked up the recording, like which happened on a show last month, the recording was terrible. and I felt so bad. It was ready to release the fall, like this whatever upcoming week. I'm like, we got to redo this, man. I'm so sorry, And I just spent like an hour and a half trying to fix it. So I guess, Brandon, why podcasting? Why'd you pick podcasting?
When I first decided about it, it was after I had published my book, my first book, and I was just kind of struggling because I'm very outspoken about stuff. I have a little conspiracy theory hat, and a lot of things are happening in the world, and I was in Facebook jail like every day. Okay, so I'm trying to promote home business. I'm trying to promote my book, and I'm in Facebook jail again. I can't even message clients anymore. I'm getting frustrated. And, I remember this conversation so well. I'm sitting at the top of the stairs and I'm crying, and my husband's on the phone. He's just like, what do you need? Like, what do you need to do? How do you
Mhm.
get this exposure? And I'm like, I don't know, because everything belongs to everybody else. Facebook that's not my rules. I have to play by someone else's rules. And I've never been one to really censor myself, obviously. It belongs to someone else. I need my own playground with my
Mm,
own rules. And he's like, why don't you try to start a podcast? And I'm
love
like,
that.
that sounds so stupid. I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah. All
What am
right.
I going to do? Just
Yeah.
talk to a camera to myself all day? And you guys,
Yeah.
I have this really successful guy. He runs Truth and Justice podcast. His name is Bob. And I knew he had a successful podcast, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm just going to try. I'm going to go talk to him. I'm just going to see what I really need to get started, because I'd looked up some things, and I see this lady, she's like, for $30,000, I'll get your podcast started. And I'm like,
Damn.
I'm a mom of five. I had 5 kids at the time. I'm like, my income is like $1,000 a month. I know you're joking. I can't pay for this. And everywhere I looked, it was just like copious amounts of money to get started. And so I was just like hopeless. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go. His wife got one of my books and I was going to autograph it anyway. So I'm like, I'm just going to go over to Bob's and ask him straight up, how do I start? And so he took time out and he made it very simple. I'm like, Bob, I don't have money. I'm
Mhm.
starting like with 0. So talk to me like I'm 5. How do I do this? And he literally made it so simple. He's like, get Audio Boom. You've got Zoom. Get a mic that's going to be decent, and some headphones. I'm like, great. I already have a MacBook. I've already got headphones. I'm going to order a cheap mic. I paid for Zoom. I download Audio Boom. And he was like, this is his advice. He's like, 10 episodes before you publish. And he was like,
Mm.
don't ever quit. That's all he said. 10 episodes
I
before you
love that.
publish, and then don't ever quit. That was 4 years ago.
Good.
I've got how many? I'm almost at 600 episodes on that show.
Damn. Which
Yeah.
one? The one
So,
I was on or the other
nope.
one?
My core flagship show is called Listen Bitch.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, that one, I mean, it's my heart and soul. It's the one where I get to express how pissed off I am at people for just sitting on their potential. It's the one I get to express like how annoying excuses are, and it's the one where I get to show people and tell people what's possible. I pretty much drag them through my mess. I don't sugarcoat
Mm,
it. It's not a curated. If anybody ever comes to my page, if you ever come on my social media and you're like, "Oh my god, wow, you're so lucky you have it figured out." I know I'm doing something wrong,
yeah.
because I never want to portray that, curated bullshit.
But don't you hate it? I think that's why we resonate so much on this kind of
Yeah.
topic, Brandon. It's like we see a lot of that kind of bullshit out there, and some of us like that kind of bullshit. I don't know, like, why? Like, we have to embrace the suck. We have to embrace
Yeah.
the mess, right? I guess walk us through how you came up with "Tell Me Why You're Special."
The What Makes You Special show. So, this is the thing that's kind of been sitting on my heart. I started a political podcast, Faith and Fire, God and Country. Started that. It was, I know God was calling me to that. I just needed my own playground because, again, my mouth gets me in Facebook jail, and I'm like suspended on TikTok and everywhere, little rebel here, and in all these ridiculous things. So I'm like, I'm just going to start my own thing. And I ended up starting with a co-host.
Mm,
And this co-host is, like kind of fed me some stuff that I started to believe, where, he was like, can we bring on guests? And I'm like, absolutely. And then he would be like, well, I don't think we should bring on this person. I'm scared of how you'll talk to them. I
mm,
don't think we should do this over here because I don't think that you could hold back. Just worried about censoring me. And I bought into that, right? Because he was someone that I admired and respected, and he's a big podcaster, and especially because 'cause we're on the platform with Podmatch, right?
Mhm, mhm.
And he's like, "I have to protect this. I have to protect the Podmatch, and Podmatch will flag us if you get a bad review," and just a bunch of stuff that he packed on me. And so I kind of just dropped the topic of having a guest show, but then, like, I lock in with God, you guys. Like, I put everything on my foundation, building this relationship with Christ, and I just kept hearing this, like, get a guest show, get a guest show. And at this point, I still had a co-host. And so on the other shows, I'm like, well, I can't turn that into a guest show, right? So I said, I'm gonna have to come up with something different. And I'm thinking about all the conversations I have with people in life, like,
Mhm.
even when I'm prospecting clients for coaching or I'm seeing who can I help, like the story is all the same. I watch very successful people do incredible things and they're the most miserable people I've ever met. And then I watch these other people who are, have so much potential and they're doing nothing with it. And I talk to these other people and I'm like, you should share your story. Like they have these impactful things and tell me their message and they're just like, no, it's not that big a deal. It's not that important. And I just thought, what makes us special?
Mm.
And I would love to flip the script because when I first started it, people didn't really understand. Now that people listen to it, you could tell what it is. But it isn't a show of like, what makes you special? Tell me all of your list of achievements. Because the
Yeah.
truth is, like, fuck your achievements. What makes you special? You're in the arena, you're getting your ass kicked. I just want these conversations to be real. And that's what makes people special is like everything you went through to get here. Accolades are cool. Like your degrees, that's cool. I love all that. That's hard work. That's respect. But what's even cooler is if you show other people how you get there, not with the curated perfect stuff like we're just talking about, but like if you show them that you're really getting your ass kicked in the arena, that there is no secret hack, there's no cheat codes, there's no
Right.
magic wand that's
5
going to.
steps to yeah, yeah.
Yes. I just cut through that and I just want everybody to realize they have a story and they have a voice. And if we could start recognizing what makes people special, maybe we can stop making the younger generation feel like they have to have all of these things to have their life together because we're missing something somewhere. Because why,
Yeah.
why, Tony, am I talking to these very successful women who have bank accounts that I will only ever dream of, and they're the most miserable people ever? Why is that the case? How do we hack this little life and get people to understand the things that matter over the accolades that everything we want is inside of us, right? Like we were born with these incredible gifts and that happiness and that joy and that peace, it's inside of you. And we're trying to use all this external stuff to try to fill a void. It's impossible to fill.
How would you define success today?
Oh my gosh, today
Yeah.
that I mean, I succeed every day that I do this stuff. Like success is that one person that messages me that says, "Man, I can't believe you put up this episode. It's exactly what I needed today." Like that's success to me. That someone that moves the needle. Like I've been binging Netflix for 2 weeks, didn't know what to do next. One simple thing you say kind of changes that. Success is knowing that I can wake up every day and be able to steward my mission and have these conversations, talk to people. Success is being able to look myself in the mirror and being proud of everything I did today. Did my morals and ethics and values line up with how I represented myself? Did I do everything I could to step into my potential? Which is like the dumb, mundane shit, right? Like, did I work out? Did I eat right? Did I get outside? Did I do those things that feel good? And every day I get to say yes to that. Like that's success to me.
I love that. So one of the things we like to say, Brandon, on the show is that success is not a matter of good luck, it's good skills. What would you say, having said, how you define success, which I really resonate with, what's the skill that has allowed you to see yourself in the mirror and see the reflection that you're seeing and say, yes, I'm fucking killing it every day?
Yeah. Oh, that skill is resilience. Does that count?
Ah, yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it is
Absolutely.
that resilience because if anybody who's listened to Listen Bitch knows how many times I'm not the person that transitions. If I'm done with something, I burn it down. And
Mm.
they've watched me burn my life down a million times. That's a toxic trait. I'm not suggesting that, okay? I'm growing up a little and realizing the transition is okay now. We can do it gently, but just that burning down my life and starting from 0 so many times. I've had to start
Mm.
over at 0 so many times, and, like, there was just some point where I'm like, "Okay, well, we're starting over again. What's the alternative? I do nothing. If I do nothing, what is the point of my life? There isn't one. Then why am I gonna be here? I may as well just off with her head. Because what am I gonna do if I'm not doing something with purpose and meaning, and I'm not creating, and I'm not trying to make an impact, then what is the point?"
But how can people find that, right? Maybe someone, let's think of the scenario of someone's in a
Yeah,
9 to 5 job and they're just grinding it out and they're earning their paycheck and they're like, this isn't amounting to shit, right? They feel like their
yeah.
impact is not doing what they think it should be doing. What would you recommend to someone like that?
That's the thing about doing the hard, mundane stuff. That means that when you get off work, it's not about, cracking the beer open, watching Netflix,
Mm.
playing your video games. It's not about, like, caving into that. If you really don't like where you're at, then you're gonna do something creative outside of that. You're gonna put in a couple hours a day on something that you're passionate about or something that you feel driven to. You think about the one of the biggest problems you had in your life, like people that work with money came from a place where they struggled with it and
Mhm.
they end up being great with money. Great coaches have had terrible lives. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you come from that place of what would genuinely make you happy. You're already figuring out what you don't like. Right? You're kind of exhausted in the mundane, but it's also that extra thing. Is it worth it to you? And I would say if it's not, if you don't have the couple hours, then have that acceptance. That's where you're gonna be. If you don't do anything different outside of what you're doing, where are you gonna be in 3 years? The exact same place.
I know you said it's not sustainable. You're kind of this
Right
week, if
now?
you will,
No.
right now, exactly. But I do want to talk to the point which I really like with kind of your work ethic, if you will. It seems like when you have that belief that you're going to have meaning, you have purpose, you have this vision, you get this extra pool of energy. Right, you're energetic after this, even though you're tired of shit from this long
Yeah.
day. You're excited. Oh, I get to see my kids now, right?
Yeah.
And maybe my husband comes home or whatever the
Yeah.
events are. And it's like I guess, like, how can people I really wanna get technical here. How can people start aligning their things? I like how you said, get off the beer and the Netflix
Yeah.
and all those activities. What would you recommend to someone? What other activities should they be doing?
There is so much out there, and I feel like if you are just in that mind block, like if you're the person that is addicted to all the bad habits, and don't get me wrong, I mean, you give me a Sunday morning and a cloudy day, we're gonna binge the shit out of some trash TV, okay? I'm telling you guys right now, our thing is game shows for 1 hour after I'm done recording. We watch cheesy game shows, okay? So I don't want you to think that there's a life of like, no, no, nothing, okay? But find something outside of yourself, change up your habit, change up your pattern. If your head is clouded, then maybe you get off work and you go for a 30-minute walk with no
Mm.
music, no anything, and just like listen to yourself. Because I guarantee 30 days of doing that, you're going to have different conversations. You're going to see different opportunities. You're going to have a different perspective. You're going to feel completely different. And something so stupid as a 30-minute walk every day for X amount of days, then things change in your brain and you have a different vision. You don't feel so lost. You start to feel hopeful. And then you just kind of listen to what you're being pulled to, whatever that looks like. Or, think about a time you were like the happiest. I mean, if I'm being honest, my dream job would be to lay around and read books all day. That's
Nice, I love that.
that's dreamy to me. Like I
Yep.
love
With
reading.
your
So
cat, of course, yep.
yeah. Oh, please keep my cat in everything. I can't have her in here because she'll close out our screen 1,000 times. She just would have knocked down all my equipment and my curtain in the meantime. But it is like think about a time that you had a lot of fun or something that you really, really love doing. And I feel like you can launch anything from that. Obviously, I love talking. So the podcast is just a natural, you know, creative modality for me. But I think finding something you can create or do, maybe you like to work with your hands. Dude, just go get a piece of wood and fiddle around with a knife, carve something. I don't know. I feel like separate yourself from your everyday life, get outside of the noise and just be with yourself for a minute. And I think the answers come.
It takes discipline, right? And I guess, like, how can people approach this, right? Because I think of, like, New Year's, right? And I actually
Yeah.
hate New Year's resolutions. I will
Oh,
not
it's
ever fucking
awful.
do one. Just set a goal when you wanna set one. But anyways, I just think of that, like, kind of what happens, right? We all get so excited, New Year, and then in February, we don't do shit. What do you recommend, or what are your sort of kinda techniques, strategies, tactics to stay motivated? to keep that discipline?
Well, y'all, motivation is bullshit because I am so not motivated 90% of the time. I'm just not. I'm not motivated, and naturally, I'm not motivated. And I just want to say that that's why, like, I started thinking, and it does help because the Bible's a really good guidebook for me, and that's kind of the model. So putting myself in alignment with that and like my purpose and knowing that he put a calling on my life, there's that level of stewardship and responsibility that I started to take on. And so I start putting things together and I think, how am I going to best show up for people? If God wants me to have this podcast, how can I show up in my best self? And you guys, if I wake up and I drink a big Dunkin' sugar loaded coffee with a couple of donuts and some hash browns, which their hash browns are fire, by the way.
Yeah, they are good.
I
They're
eat all that and I come in here carrying the weight of hosting a show and I'm doing 5 or 6 interviews a day. I'm going to be a slumpy slob with brain capacity of like nothing. I started to recognize that if I'm going to steward this show, if I'm going to step into my mission, then things need to change.
Mm.
So, what does that mean? The same thing with like my weight loss journey, it all comes together because I'm like I can't steward my relationship with Christ and be a fat ass. I can't. I have to take that serious. Like people are going to look at me now and have different eyes. And so I have to be the best version of myself. So I step into every day not motivated, but just like I'm representing Christ in everything I do. Like I'm under the microscope now. So how can I be the best version? And so I do the smart things. I don't scroll Facebook before I come into my office. Okay? I don't even scroll Facebook before I wake up. I took it off my phone, to be honest. So,
I don't even
I
have
don't do that.
Facebook.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're steps ahead. But it's just no social media, none of that stuff. And it's taking that responsibility of like who I want to be today. I was
Mhm.
tired of being the person who was always tired. I was tired of being the person who wasn't moving the needle. And now I'm just like, who do I get to be today? And don't get me wrong, you guys, like, I don't know, it was like maybe 3 weeks ago, it was like a Saturday. We didn't have a lot on the calendar. I didn't leave the couch. I was like,
Mm.
I'm dead. Like softball's exhausting. I think it was the first weekend we didn't have a softball tournament. And those went like 2 days, 12-hour days, you guys, in the sun. And I just was like, it's, I love my babies, the things we do for our kids, but wow, I'm glad it's over. So, yeah, I just died. So, I'm going to tell you right now, like, not every day I have is 100%. It's just never going to be like that. And no matter how much I put into my day yesterday, and I was like gung ho, pedal to the metal, I'm like, man, I'm finally going to get a podcast up because I'm like 4 days late on that. And guess what didn't happen? So, I woke up today and I could either beat myself up that I didn't do enough yesterday, I didn't step into my potential, or I could just do the next right thing. What's the next right thing? I'm going to do my interviews. I'm going to eat right. I'm going to show up. And it is just that. Like, we get this incredible gift of getting to be the best we can be. And there's never a ceiling to that. Like, there is never going to be capped potential on how good of a person I can be physically, mentally, spiritually. And like every day we get a chance to try again. So that's not motivation because I never wake up excited. Like I said, there's some days where I don't want to work out. That's the first thing I have to do because if not, I don't.
I love that. I love that discipline. So, Brandon, I want to ask this question because you have a very unique, gonna have a unique perspective on this. How would you look at work-life balance?
Balance is bullshit. There is no such thing. There really truly is no such thing. People ask that all the time and the truth is no. I'm spread thin all the time and without communication, I would have a lot of problems in my life, without my husband
Mm.
saying, "Hey, can we set this boundary because I do want to see you." I'd podcast all day every day all day long, but then the kids need me and he needs me. So there really isn't a balance. It's like, cool, right now I'm doing the unsustainable schedule and still it's not enough. But there's a point where I could calm that down and set the boundary. So I feel like sometimes
Mm.
there's times where we put the pedal to the metal and we go crazy. And there's other times where it's just like we have to chill, step back and relax. But for balance, there is none. I think you have to communicate very clearly and you have to be
Ah,
willing. Like when I walk out of this office today, I have to drop the weight of the fact I have 6 interviews that I have to post and schedule. I'm going to drop the weight of the fact I still have 2 shows that I have to record. I'm going to drop all of that and I'm going to go out and just like laugh with my kids and eat
I
some
love
food
that.
finally. You know what I mean?
I
So
love
there
that.
is no balance. It's just that I try to be very intentional to be super present in whatever moment I'm in. And everybody knows if they need something from me, just ask. If you need a day, ask me for the day. It's yours.
I think you nailed it, right? I think of like, with Olympic athletes, you talked about being present. So when I look at athletes, right? Well, the World Cup's going on, right? Could you
Yeah,
imagine a World Cup player with their phone out, right? They're in the
right.
game.
Mhm.
They're totally present, like you said. And when they're done, they're gonna go, well, maybe not party, but just go hang out and have a good time. So I love how you set that boundary for your work and then for your kids and your family and everything else. That's beautiful. So, Brandon, this is the Work Sucks, but I Like It podcast. What is one thing that sucks, relatively speaking, about what you do, and what are you doing to make it not suck?
Oh, well, I'll just be honest, there's something that sucks and it's never not gonna suck as long as I have to do it, and that's gonna be the posting the episodes.
I know,
I
right?
fucking
Sorry.
hate doing that. I hate it so much. I use chat now, so I take my Zoom notes, like our whole conversation, I screenshot it, and then I paste it into chat with the same command every time. It's just like, give me the SEO keywords for YouTube, give me an SEO overview, but still just that copy and paste process. And then, especially like on Podmatch, there's 3 extra steps rather than someone I just, work with naturally. So that part is the worst part of my day. I wish I could do it first thing in the morning, but it doesn't work out like that because it doesn't work out, but it sucks, and there's no way for it not to suck until I have a great production team that can do the shit work for me. It's a necessary evil. It sucks. I do not like it. And homeschool, being the homemaker, being the person that takes care of all the things, you guys, housework sucks. I am not the best housekeeper. My husband will be the first to tell you she's terrible. But I still do it and it sucks. Like I hate doing dishes. And so during the weekend my husband does them, thank God, but most of the time it sucks. You just have to do stuff that sucks. There's no
Mm,
way out of it, and there's no way to really make it better. I don't think I there's nothing you could do or tell me that I could do that would make dishes fun. You know what I'm saying? Or folding laundry. Like that shit is
right,
not
right,
fun.
right,
Like you
right,
just
right.
do it. It's just you just do it.
Even if you gamify it, right, it's still not fun, right?
Yeah. Not at all. No.
Awesome. Well, Brandon, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you. This was so great. I love the work that you're doing and just even having a podcast at all. I know it takes a thick skin, so you're doing amazing.
Well, thank you. And I definitely resonated with your part about posting because I will admit that is the sucky part for me if I were to say something about with podcasting. So, but no, thank you for your honesty and your
Of
transparency. I love it
course.
all. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there's a way